Hello, and welcome to Operation Remote Resilience. My name is Lisa, and I'm a certified Warriors at Ease teacher. Today, I will be your guide through a gentle chair yoga class designed to de-stress and get back in touch with breath. So please start by taking a comfortable seat on a chair and line up your feet underneath your knees. Try to get your knees and feet straight ahead. Sitting up straight, but letting the shoulders relax. And keeping the neck long, the ears in line with the shoulders. And we'll start by checking in on breathing. So either soft gaze at the floor or closing your eyes, whatever you feel comfortable with. And start by just bringing your attention to the breath. So without trying to change anything or control anything, just notice the breath. So what's the orientation of the breath? Is it coming straight from the movement of the chest, or is it further down, initiated at the bottom of the lungs by the movement of the diaphragm? And you can check that by bringing your fingertips onto your belly. Fingers are pointing towards each other. And if possible, keeping the mouth closed as you breathe generates a little more heat. And notice if, as the diaphragm, if you're using the diaphragm for breath, as the diaphragm contracts, it draws the breath in and pulls the belly out. So we also refer to diaphragmatic breathing as belly breathing. So versus shallow breathing only from the chest, breathing fully down the whole capacity of the lungs. See if you can feel the back body moving up against the back of the chair, indicating that breath is moving the whole circumference of the lungs so that it's pushing the lungs out in the back area too. And if you're not feeling that right away, no worries. They call it practice. We just continue to practice with it. And what's the quality of the breath? Does it feel deep? Does it feel steady? And without forcing it, does it feel like you should make it a little deeper? Checking with the rhythm of the breath. So fully, deeply, rhythmically, evenly breathing in, and just as fully breathing out. Maybe feeling the sensation of a sense of rootedness as you exhale. As you inhale, feeling maybe a little more buoyant, feeling a little taller. Feeling the breath move in through the nostrils, over the palate, down the windpipe, and letting go of any control, just sitting here for a moment, and then just experiencing breath. For the moment, nothing else to think about but breathing. And at any time during your day, during your week, knowing that breath is a resource to come by, come back to. Just the simple act of sitting and breathing can help calm things down, can help bring things in focus. And so another tool in the toolbox for that. Starting to open up the neck muscles, which further facilitate breathing. Sitting up tall, but letting the shoulders relax. So just setting it up and then sitting into it. And then looking to the left, I'll be mirroring you. And relaxing the face, softening the eyes, unclenching the jaw. And continuing to breathe. Rotate the head in the opposite direction. And feeling the support of the feet into the floor, backs of the legs into the chair, spine supporting the torso, and breath supporting everything else. Back again to center. And this time, letting the left ear drop in the direction of the left shoulder. And moving in the opposite side. So noticing the stretch, probably not just on the side of the neck, but up into the scalp, around the ear, top of the shoulder. So we tend to hold a lot of tension, especially if you've been doing any fine motor work, working on a computer. And breathing. Back to center again, and this time making the movement dynamic versus static, and turning the head one direction to the other, and not forcing it, just natural range of motion. Coming back to center, leaning forward slightly, letting the head drop, and ensuring plenty of space between the chin and the throat so as not to cut off breath, letting the shoulders move down away from the ears. And breathing. Back to center again. Looking up right past where the ceiling meets the wall. And now making this movement dynamic. So you are nodding your head yes, and following your pace. And stretch a little more symmetrical here. Again, probably up into the scalp, down to the tops of the upper back. And one last movement, bringing the chin to the shoulder, tracing a semicircle. From one shoulder to the other, letting the head drop. And notice any place where it kind of feels a little stuck, just moving past that. And take a moment here to see how that landed in your body. Hopefully your neck, your jaw, tops of the shoulders, everything feeling a little more open. And again, another resource for you that if you feel like you need a little break, take a few minutes to just sit and stretch your neck. So moving on to the shoulders, bringing the fingertips onto the shoulders, elbows straight ahead and then back and around. And you can get feedback from your fingertips into the shoulders. If you start to see someplace where it's a little stuck, and just make note of that and working through that. And then moving the other direction. And breathing. So keeping the fingertips where they are and sitting up straight. Again, check that your knees are still moving straight ahead, feet are straight ahead. And bring your elbows to the front and towards each other. And notice where you feel the stretch here. In this position, you probably have more of a contraction on the chest and an opening on the upper back. And now take that the other way. And keeping the neck long and feeling an opening in the pectoral muscles, the chest, and breathing. Back again to the front and keeping the neck long. So not undoing all that great neck work we just worked with. And again, bringing it back. Let that go. Kind of shake that out. And I know I've spent almost 15 minutes so far telling you to keep your shoulders away from the ears. So on this one, we're going to pull the shoulders to the ears. And you're using the shoulders, or the shoulders are moving, but really think about engaging. Think about the shoulder blades on the back. And as you bring the shoulders towards each other and up and move them back, Really focus on what those shoulder blades are doing. Now moving that the other direction. Okay, bring your hands straight out in front of you. So you're going to push something on the wall and flip the fingertips up. Pull the fingertips back towards your face. Keep the torso long. And then drop the fingertips. And this is a nice exercise if you've been doing a lot of typing. Again, maybe working on equipment or anything. So fingertips point up again. So just back and forth. And then just move them. And so you're just opening up the wrists. So this is a little different here. Come to the side so you can see it. So I'm cupping my hands, so I'm engaging the carpal tunnel here. And again, torso long, shoulders relaxed. And I just kind of, as though I was unscrewing a peanut butter lid. Okay, and then let that go. And again, part of yoga is listening to feedback from your body. So after we do a set, just take a moment to scan through and see how that landed. So moving on from there, hold on to the left tricep with your right hand. Let the shoulder relax down and pull that arm over. And a stretch, not just in the arm, but probably in the top of the shoulder, maybe even into the upper back. So you're in charge of how much force you use on this. And breathing. Release that down, switch sides. So never working to the point where it's major discomfort. It's always, we're just working to get a stretch, maybe a little therapeutic irritation, but never working through pain. Now we're going to change the angle, and to change the angle, you change the stretch. So lifting the left arm overhead and holding on right above the elbow onto the upper arm. And again, move your head around a little bit so that you're not assisting with the neck. And lengthening the torso up, so hopefully feeling the stretch in the top of the shoulder and from the armpit down to the hip. Breathing. So everything gets easier if you breathe, except for swimming underwater. Then switch it to the other side. And let the hands, the arms, just kind of shake it out there. So again, check your seat. So feet straight ahead, knees lined up, and scoot a little forward in the chair, not enough to where you're at all in any danger of falling out of the chair, obviously. So just that you're going to give yourself a little more space here. And working with some seated cat-cow, we're going to move the spine in one direction and then the other. So just like the neck, the spine moves in 6 directions. We move the neck in the 6 directions to start with. So here, this is the forward and backwards. So pulling the belly button in, let the upper back round, keeping the neck in neutral. And so you're exaggerating the natural curve of the upper back, the thoracic area. And pressing, feeling the support of the feet into the floor, backs of the legs into the chair, lengthening the torso, and then continuing, letting the shoulders maybe even move back a little bit, opening up the chest, looking up but not letting the head drop. So moving at your pace. A good practice with that maybe is to move with breath and explore what feels like a natural breath for you. For many, exhaling, letting the breath out as you curl in feels more natural, and inhaling as you come up. So your movements may be a little faster or slower than mine, but if it's because you're doing it with breath and following the breath, then you're doing it absolutely right. So again, we exaggerate the curve of the upper back, and then in the opposite movement, we exaggerate the curve of the lower back. So it's like an S shape. Outward curve of the upper back, inward curve of the lower back. And just trying to get maybe eventually to some place in the middle. Now back to center again, and again sitting up straight. And so we did forward and backward, now moving into the spinal twist. So turning the torso to the left, shoulders relax down, torso long, and planning the lower body. So what distinguishes a twist is one part of the body remains stationary and the other part twists. Using your hand for leverage, and if this was comfortable on your neck, you can start to turn the head to look over the left shoulder. And breathing. Back to neutral. And taking it to the other side. So just taking the twist to the point where you feel a stretch in the torso. Again, never working through pain. Okay. Back to the starting place. Sitting up straight. Let your left arm hang down. Lift your right arm up. And stretching. So 5th and 6th position of the back is side bending. Breathe into it, maybe extend it a little longer. So keeping the arm bone still connected into the shoulder socket. So I'm not trying to pull the arm out of the socket. Just setting up for a nice stretch from the armpit to the hip, from the armpit to the tips of the fingers. And then taking that to the second side. Keep breathing. So, good seat in the chair. So again, you've got a little bit of space back here. And start to angle, kind of walk your feet to the side. So we're moving to the right. So both knees, second toe, center of the knee. And bringing the arms outstretched, you can actually bring the palms up and try and keep the upper arms in outer rotation as you bring the lower arms, palms facing the floor. Relaxing the shoulders down. Let the left arm drop. Hold on to the chair, reaching up. So again, real nice stretch. The side body, keeping both shoulders moving back. Keeping the neck in neutral. And then moving forward to side angle. Release that down. Walk back to neutral, then walking to the other side. So again, setting up to make sure that you can see your toes so that your knees are in good alignment. And moving into warrior two. Back into reverse. And breathing. And pressing the feet and the floor for support as you come forward on your forearm. And moving into side angle. Keeping the head back, spine neutral. Release that down. Coming forward again. And pick up your right leg and cross it so that the ankle is right above the knee. So it's on the thigh. And coming forward, straightening the arms up, keeping this foot active so you're not sickling the foot. And so we can work on a little bit of a hip flexor stretch here, maybe even into the outer hip. Switch it to the other side. And if that's not as acceptable to you, if you can't bring your leg all the way up, you just cross the ankle. So you're still getting a little bit of this cross motion. So, and breathing. Okay, coming back to where we started, always coming back to the breath. So taking a moment here, again, lining it up. And your choice, either just pick a spot to focus on, or close your eyes, and just bring your attention back to your breathing. And if it feels as though it could be, should be deeper, slower, and you're in control of that. But again, not forcing it. And if you have your eyes closed, opening the eyes. And thank you so much for joining me as part of Operation Remote Resilience. Please consider visiting the link below to make a donation, ensuring the continued accessibility of resources like this. Supporters like you make it possible for Warriors at Ease teachers like me to continue to serve those who serve. This is Lisa, signing off of Operation Remote Resilience in Health, Resilience, and Connection.